The roar of the TD Garden has been missing one unmistakable voice, the echo of a superstar who defines the heartbeat of Boston. Now, after months of silence and endless speculation, a single sentence from Jayson Tatum has sent shockwaves through the entire NBA. The Celtics franchise cornerstone has not only confirmed that a return this season is possible, he has quietly circled a date on the calendar. No vague promises, no empty talk, just a declaration that carries the weight of destiny. This is not just a comeback story, it is the beginning of something that could reshape the entire championship race. Before we dive into the details of this stunning revelation, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and smash that hype button so you do not miss a single update as Boston prepares for one of the most anticipated moments in franchise history. Here is what we know. In early May of this year, Jayson Tatum suffered a torn Achilles tendon during Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the New York Knicks. For most players, such an injury is a year-long nightmare, a slow and uncertain climb back to full strength. Yet just 4 months later, Tatum is moving with a purpose that defies every expectation. In an appearance on ESPN's NBA Today, he admitted that he's not just dreaming of a return during the 2025-2026 season. He has already chosen the exact night when he intends to step back onto the parquet floor of TD Garden. He refused to reveal the date, but made it clear that it will be a home game, a moment designed to unleash the full power of Boston's faithful. This is where the curiosity begins to burn. How can a player who endured one of the most feared injuries in sports speak with such certainty only a third of a year later? Dr. Martin O'Malley, the surgeon who performed the operation, has been left almost speechless by the pace of the recovery. According to O'Malley, the strength of Tatum's calf is beyond what he has ever witnessed at this stage of rehabilitation. He described a player so relentless in his training that the typical side effects of weakness are simply not appearing. 6 days a week of intense rehab are not just numbers, they are proof of a willpower that borders on the supernatural. For Celtics fans, this is not just about getting their best player back. It is about the message that Tatum is sending to the entire league. Boston is not content to defend a title or settle for a deep playoff run. They are preparing to dominate an era. Every day that Tatum spends in the gym strengthens not only his Achilles but the belief inside the locker room that this team is built for dynasties. His return will not be a cautious step, it will be a thunderous announcement that the road to the Larry O'Brien Trophy still runs through Boston. Think of what this means for the timeline of the franchise. With Tatum back earlier than anyone dared to predict, Brad Stevens can adjust the rotation with confidence, Joe Mazzulla can prepare game plans that bring back the signature two-way dominance, and Jaylen Brown can share the spotlight with his co-star once again. The Celtics were already feared, but the possibility of a fully healthy Tatum before the end of the regular season creates a strategic advantage that few rivals can match. It forces the entire Eastern Conference to question their plans and injects a new sense of urgency into every trade, every signing, every defensive scheme. The most tantalizing part of all this is the mystery. Tatum has put a date on the calendar, but he has not shared it. Will it be a December clash that ignites the holiday schedule, a February showdown that sets the tone for the playoff push, or perhaps a dramatic return timed perfectly for the stretch run in April? Each passing week will bring speculation and excitement to a fever pitch. Fans will watch every practice clip, every medical update, every subtle hint from teammates for signs of when the Garden will erupt again. Boston has seen legends rise before, but this chapter has a unique electricity. A young superstar already a champion, and an all-NBA force, tearing down the barriers of recovery with nothing but grit, science, and unshakable belief. When that unnamed date finally arrives, the sound inside TD Garden will not just welcome back a player, it will celebrate a city's resilience and a team's relentless pursuit of greatness. The league has been warned. Jayson Tatum is not waiting for permission to rewrite the story of the 2025-2026 season. The only question left is how many hearts will Boston break on the night when the lights dim, the music swells, and the face of the franchise steps back onto the court where he belongs. The league has been warned. Jayson Tatum is not waiting for permission to rewrite the story of the 2025-2026 season. The only question left is how many hearts Boston will break on the night when the lights dim, the music swells, and the face of the franchise steps back onto the court where he belongs. That suspense alone is enough to keep every Celtics fan awake, but the front office has quietly added even more intrigue to the coming weeks with a series of moves that could shape the depth of this roster in surprising ways. As training camp approaches, President of Basketball Operations Brad Stevens has shown once again why his reputation as one of the most calculated architects in the NBA continues to grow. Just days before camp begins, he moved decisively to reshape the back end of the roster, first by waiving Hayden Gray, a dynamic college scorer who led the entire NCAA in steals last season. Gray had been signed to an Exhibit 10 deal, a type of contract often used to discover hidden gems, but the Celtics made the difficult choice to release him in order to keep their flexibility intact. This decision was not about a lack of talent. It was about timing, opportunity, and the need to preserve every possible roster slot for players who can help the team navigate a grueling regular season while Tatum makes his dramatic return. In Gray's place, Boston added Kendall Brown, a former 48th overall pick who has bounced between the Indiana Pacers, the Brooklyn Nets, and the G League. At first glance, his numbers are modest, averaging just over 1 point per game in limited NBA minutes, but the Celtics see something deeper. Brown is a relentless downhill attacker who thrives in transition and applies pressure at the rim, a skill set that fits perfectly with Boston's fast-paced offense. In the G League, he flashed real efficiency, scoring 16 points per night while hitting 37% of his three-point attempts. At only 21 years old and standing 6 feet 6 inches tall, he brings a blend of athleticism and untapped potential that could become invaluable if injuries or trades create sudden openings in the rotation. These subtle signings reveal a larger strategy. The Celtics are operating in a financial landscape where every dollar matters. With so much money committed to their championship core, low-cost contracts like Exhibit 10 deals and two-way agreements are more than developmental experiments. They are lifelines that allow Boston to discover talent without sacrificing future flexibility. Players such as Jalen Bridges, Ron Harper Jr., and several promising rookies will enter camp not just fighting for a roster spot, but for the chance to prove that they can be the next unsung hero who delivers in a critical playoff moment. For a team chasing another banner, one unexpected breakout could make the difference between a deep playoff run and another parade through the streets of Boston. While these quiet moves unfold, the trade market continues to swirl around Anthony Simons, a gifted scorer whose $27 million salary makes him one of the few movable pieces left on Boston's books. Reports indicate that Stevens has tested the market throughout the summer without finding an offer that matches the organization's high standards. Point guard is a deep position across the league, and teams are hesitant to pay a premium before the season begins, but Boston can afford to be patient. By keeping Simons in the rotation and showcasing his shooting and pace in Joe Mazzulla's offense, the Celtics can both benefit from his skill set and potentially increase his value as the trade deadline approaches. Every three-pointer, every highlight play will be a subtle invitation for rival executives to pick up the phone. Then there is the emotional subplot of Al Horford, a beloved veteran who remains unsigned after joining the Golden State Warriors on a 2-year deal with a player option for the second season. His departure creates a leadership gap that younger players will now have to fill, but it also opens opportunities for someone unexpected to seize a bigger role. Stevens has built a roster where competition is not a threat, but a driving force. Training camp will be a crucible where hunger meets opportunity, and the result could be the discovery of a player who adds an extra layer of toughness to a team already built on grit and precision. All of these moves, from the carefully timed roster shuffles to the calculated patience in trade talks, lead back to one undeniable truth. The Boston Celtics are preparing for something extraordinary. They are not merely waiting for Jayson Tatum to heal, they are constructing a fortress around him, a roster capable of weathering any storm until their superstar makes his triumphant return. When Tatum finally steps onto the floor on that secret date circled in red, he will not be joining a team that merely survive his absence. He will be stepping into a lineup sharpened by competition, strengthened by hidden talents, and guided by a front office that refuses to settle for anything less than another championship banner hanging from the rafters of TD Garden. The countdown has begun. The training camp battles, the simmering trade talks, the mystery of Tatum's calendar date, and the relentless pursuit of undervalued talent all converge into one thrilling narrative. Boston is not just defending a title. Boston is building the next great chapter in its legendary history. Every practice, every signing, every whispered rumor carries the promise that when the Garden finally erupts again, it will not only celebrate the return of its brightest star, but announce to the world that the Celtics are ready to rule the NBA once more. Boston is not merely defending a championship window, is building a future that feels bigger than any single season, and that mission now extends to the very heart of the paint. Training camp is only days away, and while the spotlight will eventually swing back to Jayson Tatum's secret return date, another story is quietly unfolding inside the walls of the Auerbach Center. It is a story that carries enormous weight for the franchise and for one player whose career may hinge on the next few weeks. The name is Neemias Queta, and the stakes surrounding him are far greater than most fans realize. Entering his third season in Boston, Queta is no longer the intriguing project who flashes potential in garbage time. With Kristaps Porzingis recovering and Luke Kornet gone, the 7-foot Portuguese center suddenly finds himself staring at a path that could lead either to long-term security or to the edge of the rotation. It is a rare and delicate moment. If he seizes it, he could redefine how the Celtics approach their interior future. If he falters, the front office will have no choice but to explore the market for reinforcements long before the trade deadline. Queta's journey to this point has been anything but ordinary. Born in Lisbon and molded by years of international competition, he carries a unique blend of length, timing, and finesse that Boston's coaching staff quietly values. His summer performance for Portugal in Eurobasket offered a glimpse of what he might become. In 24 minutes per game, he averaged 15.5 points and 8 rebounds while controlling the paint on both ends. That production did not happen by accident. Queta returned from last season with noticeably sharper footwork and a more polished touch around the rim, evidence of a relentless work ethic that mirrors the culture Brad Stevens demands from every Celtic. Yet the NBA is a different battlefield. For Queta, the challenge is not about a single highlight block or a random double-double. It is about sustaining a level of consistency that forces Joe Mazzulla to trust him in high-leverage moments. He must learn to protect the rim without unnecessary fouls, to anchor defensive rotations against the league's most versatile offenses, and to punish smaller defenders with efficient post touches. These are the habits that separate a temporary starter from a cornerstone center, and they must be visible every day of training camp. The opportunity could not be clearer. Boston's financial commitments to its superstar core leave little room for expensive veteran big men, which means internal growth is the surest path to stability. If Queta proves that he can handle 20-plus minutes a night across an 82-game season, he not only secures his place in the lineup, but also gives Stevens the flexibility to preserve draft assets and avoid desperate mid-season trades. A breakout from Queta would echo beyond the box score, allowing Boston to keep its cap sheet clean while maintaining the size and physicality required for another deep playoff run. This is the hidden drama of training camp, the kind of subplot that championship teams quietly rely on. Fans will watch for Tatum's recovery updates and for the latest whispers around Anthony Simons, but inside the gym, every drill and every scrimmage will serve as a referendum on Queta's readiness. The Celtics need more than flashes. They need a young center who can anchor a defense when the games start to matter in April and May. Queta has the tools and the stage is set. When camp opens on Monday, September 29th, and the preseason tips off against the Memphis Grizzlies on Wednesday, October 8th, all eyes will turn to see whether Neemias Queta can convert promise into permanence. His performance will not just shape the depth chart, it could determine how Boston manages its roster, its budget, and its long-term quest for another banner. The future of the Celtics frontcourt might be decided before the leaves even finish falling in New England. If you believe in this journey, now is the time to join the ride. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click that hype button so you never miss a single update as Boston pushes toward another unforgettable season.